Hi, Starseeds. Thank you so much for joining me here. This is my first ever Instagram TV video. I'm starting this 9-day series, this challenge to just consistently show up. And that's exactly what these are going to be. It's going to cover spiritual guidance on many different levels, many various topics. Some I have chosen. I have a few in mind already, but I'm also just going to use this as an open format and forum to let spirit come through with any messages that need to come through, answer any questions you might have. Always let me know what questions, what other topics you want me to ramble on about, and I'm happy to do it. So without further ado, I felt like today I would talk about meditation, just because I feel like there's so many stigmas around this subject altogether that sometimes it creates more resistance than we even need to have. And it's just, let me tell you right now, it's a completely natural process. It should feel natural. It should never feel forced. It should feel open and expansive. And if anything, it should just feel like nothing at all. If it's completely neutral, great. But yeah, let's get to talking about that. First of all, a quote comes to mind when I think about meditation. You guys remember that 90s song? I think it's from like 92 or something, where it goes, it's by Stereo MC, and it goes, you better make yourself connected, the writing's on the wall. And if your mind's neglected, stumble you might fall. So yeah, that song reminds me of the pure intention of meditating. It's like, you better get yourself connected. If you need to talk to yourself in that way to motivate a session where you sit down and just show up, have some time with being a spirit, being, then use that line from that song, because that's how important I feel like it is. You better get yourself connected. The writing's on the wall. But if your mind is neglected, stumble, you might fall. And let me tell you, when I don't meditate for a number of days, it's not pretty. It's not good. I feel like my mind is taking over and too much in the front seat. And when there's mind activity, there's potential of ego taking over. I feel blinded. And that's another song or another lyric in this song. You know that part where he's like, I'm gonna get myself connected. I ain't gonna go blind for the light that is reflected. It's that flying blind kind of feeling when I don't meditate. In essence, it kind of helps me gain clarity, but enough about me. I just thought that was a fun, unexpected tie-in, the 90s song. Now we probably have that song in your head. Sorry. But first of all, let's talk about what is meditation and what does that look like? What is it not? What are some common pitfalls and stigmas around this? Yeah. Well, to begin with, what is meditation? By the way, the views and opinions expressed in this video are solely from me and my higher self. They are not necessarily, just constantly check in with yourself. If this doesn't resonate with you, I'm never, ever going to be offended. I don't want anyone to counteract in the comments and say, this teacher says this, I believe this in terms of meditation. That's beautiful too. I just am going to go at it from my filter, if you will. So what is meditation? It is already, like I said, I told you, it's a natural practice between you and spirit. What is spirit? That is a broad overarching term I use quite commonly. but that's a whole other separate video. It's completely natural. And if you had to pinpoint a couple goals in mind, one is to breathe and one is to be present. So it's the practice of connection. That's what it really truly boils down to for me. And there are techniques such as breathing that you can use to maintain that presence. There are techniques such as, like staying present that you can utilize during this time as you practice. Yeah. So first and foremost, it is a practice mainly where you just show up. You show up and have this time with spirit. It is completely sacred and special. That's how important it is to stay connected. The writing's on the wall. If your mind's neglected, stumble you will fall. So keep that in mind. The second thing is, how can it look? A lot of people, when they think meditation, they automatically go to this archetype that's ingrained in all of our brains of, like a monk or the whole Buddha thing, where you sit down and you're in lotus position, or legs crossed. You're in an anidra kind of thing, or in prayer, and you close your eyes, and that's meditation. While that is definitely a common point and starting point for most people, I'm going to tell you this. This is what I firmly believe. Meditation looks different for everyone. And like I said, it's completely natural, and it's a connection, a sacred connection with just you and spirit. So there's really no way to standardize that across billions of souls. It's just impossible. So I remember when I first started getting started with meditation, it was uncomfortable. I also am a perpetual doer, so sitting still and just being was not an easy mode for me to switch into. But mostly I felt like it was uncomfortable because I was forcing myself to this sort of practice, and that was limiting for my type of personality and my skills. Or my gifts, excuse me. So that created more resistance. And that's not what we're trying to do here. It's supposed to be completely resistance free. You're supposed to be in a state of non-resistance. And if you want to break it down to, the scientific side of things, which I always love to do, you're in this state of beta or theta waves. Theta is when you're really deep into meditation. Beta is just fine too. Alpha is your conscious, present. As I'm speaking right now, I'm in alpha mode. Beta is when you are brainwave activity. Beta waves are common for deep creative thinking. It's kind of a form of channeling. That will be a separate video, I'm sure, one day. And then theta waves is where your subconscious is active, and you have an opportunity to reprogram your subconscious in that same kind of state as well. Hypnosis, all that kind of stuff. So it's really important. It's a bridge to your soul, to connection, to nature, to all that is, because you are part of that. And I say it's a practice because sometimes you show up and it's different. It's, we'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about what not to expect. It's constantly, it's a constant practice in which you may need to figure out what your modalities are. I'm going to list off a few different types of modalities that, of what meditation can look like. But as I said just a few minutes ago, it's a completely natural process that also is unique to you, gets you in that 0 point state. that also plays up your gifts. So that's why sitting there still in seated position isn't for everyone. And that's totally okay. At the end of the day, you just need to be in the zone in whatever method and or medium that provides. So what can it look like? Well, there is such a thing as sound meditation. Some people love to get into the zone through music, through listening to songs, through meditation music, such as binaural beats. I think I'm saying that right. Music is another form of frequency, so a vibration. So sometimes that can help activate certain things. Being creative, any mode of creativity, such as painting, especially if you're doing just automatic painting, you're letting spirit come in and out and through you without any flow of resistance whatsoever. Like I said, the stillness is what I had mentioned about sitting down in lotus position that may speak to you. There's also movement. You can use movement as a way of meditating. Yoga, such as running for me for a while, was a form of meditation. Nature walks. There's so many breakthroughs that can happen or come through to me during nature walks. It's just these are quick, high level examples. The list really can go on, but I mentioned all these because I want to inspire you to think beyond just seated in lotus position. I mean, I don't even sit in that position. It's kind of uncomfortable to me, and that creates resistance. And sometimes I will push through just because I want to practice that kind of pushing through uncomfortability as a soul expansion. But I just often sit on this yoga ball that I'm sitting on, and honestly, go with your intuition. Sometimes when I sit down to meditate, it's I get signals to be in a different position, more chest out, to expand my heart. Maybe I have a blockage in that area. It is inner devotion time for you to connect with your inner being. So listen to it and take that time to do whatever is coming through. So let's talk about that next. What meditation is not? Meditation is not somewhere you walk into. Is not something you walk into with expectation. If you have expectation about how it will unfold, what it will look like. I mean, we're human beings. We do that all the time. We think it's a meeting. We approach it like a meeting sometimes. I don't know if you're like me, but I would have the tendency of sitting down being like, this is what I want to discuss. And this is, no, it doesn't work that way. What it's not is a grounds for setting any expectations, even expectations of, we just have such a propensity to do this as humans. The expectation of having visions or something, or you'll consider it a successful meditation if you walk out feeling, or you end the session feeling so relaxed. And no, don't set that expectation. Do not. All you need to simply do is show up, breathe, and be present. Let your intuition guide you from there. At the end of the day, if at the end of the session you walked away feeling balanced, if you felt like you gained some insights, that is successful. I mean, that right there is a good ROI on your time. And thirdly, if you walk away feeling deeper connected, that could be through being able to ground there in that session, through just being. Honestly, it looks different for me every time.